Blessed on PSI TV. This is our nonprofit TV segment. It's our community give back. And guess what, guys? We've been blessed, and we just have to be a blessing back in return. Nonprofits serve those who are usually voiceless, helpless, or deserving groups in our community. So when we do this, we really help them have a greater reach and hopefully get some more exposure so they can get greater funding and sponsorship for their worthy cause. Today, I have with me Jessica and Javi Madrigal. They are the husband and wife team behind today's nonprofit spotlight, Underdog Ninja. This is a caregiver survivor story that has gone beyond a testimony to a support system for others trying to navigate their own turbulent experience. As I understand it, Javi is a survivor and Jessica was a support fighter that he needed at his side. Jessica is also a certified personal trainer, a massage therapist, and she enjoys cooking delicious plant-based meals. So I can't wait to jump in and talk to my guests. Hey guys, thanks for being with me today.
Hey. How are you?
Thanks for being here. So tell me about this Underdog Ninja, the mission, what's going on with this?
Well, this is something that is our passion. It's our heart. It's our whole life now. It's really, we put all of our energy into it. So what we provide is programs, education, resources, all kinds of different tools and solutions for people who are fighting heart disease. We help them, we coach them, we have a free group. I mean, there's so many different ways that we reach out to that community. And we just want to continue to develop programs and resources for that community.
Underdog Ninja. How did you come up with that name?
Well, in fighting this disease, I oftentimes I felt like I was an underdog, underestimated. A lot of times, even by family or friends, after being diagnosed, they didn't know really how to handle my situation, and I felt isolated. And during the fight, just trying to find ways to fight back and get to overcome this disease or to survive. You know, I felt like I was coming from behind, and you know, when I first was diagnosed, it changed my whole life. It changed my world, and I felt I felt like an underdog. And I think the ninja side of it is us, you know, finding that way, searching through and finding that light at the end of the tunnel and feeling victorious.
Mm-hmm. And the diagnosis in particular is heart disease. This is what we're talking about, right? Specifically heart disease.
That's correct. Yes. I have cardiovascular disease. So I have a lot of plaquing in and around my heart.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I can hear the passion coming out, and as you said, you've put a lot of energy into this. And you specifically mentioned heart disease. So who exactly is going to benefit the most from interacting with Underdog Ninja?
Well, I think the people that we speak to are those that are either currently been diagnosed, fighting the disease. Maybe they have family history, strong family history, like me. I've always known that heart disease ran in my family, and I knew that I had a high chance of getting it at an early age. And it seems like a 50-50 in my family. So, but unfortunately, I did. And those people that maybe have fallen into some risk factors, that's who we really are targeting, those people that will help them not only prevent heart disease, but if they currently have an aggressive form of heart disease, hope isn't lost. You know, we try to infuse that hope back into their life.
And I think one of our big market, I don't say market, but the demographic of people that we're really trying to reach is really an underserved demographic of heart disease survivors. What's really happened in our story, like probably the biggest reason why we feel called by God to do this, And God, just side note, he's been very clear with us at every step of the way. Absolutely. Through, unbelievable circumstances and moments where it was all God all day long telling us exactly what to do and that we were to do this. Is because when he was diagnosed, he's been doing this for 15 years and he's been fighting it for a long time. And he's had a quadruple bypass and 8 stents and a heart attack. We've done everything that you can do almost with heart disease. For his form is coronary artery disease. So he's got a strong heart, but it's the plaquing, like he said. So he's had to navigate all the different diets and all the different fitness plans. And one of the things through that journey is that he felt like all of the resources out there, because of course there's a lot of heart disease resources in the world. Obviously, you think, well, here's another one. Well, here's why we're different, is because you can go only so far with most of what's out there. The American Heart Association or your cardiologist or cardiac rehab, they only take you up to about, well, we call it moderation, which is basically surviving and kind of doing your best and just taking small steps. Well, for us, that was not close to good enough. We had done all of that, and he ended up back in the hospital each time. And so we were just like, what is it going to take? And so finally, a couple of years ago, he was in the hospital again after trying one more thing, and it didn't work. An angel doctor came into the ER and spent 3 days while he was recovering in the hospital with us, which was unheard of, obviously. 3 days, and they're just talking with us about how to change our nutrition and all these plant-based solutions that you were mentioning. Sure. And so
keep in mind, over this decade of fighting this disease, I've had a lot of great cardiologists. I've had some bad ones, and I felt like not enough information was getting out there to a lot of these patients. And the difference that ER doctor made not only changed my life, but that he sat down with me, took time with me, and explained some things more than any other doctor had done with before. Look, this guy was very busy. This is a hospital, Metro Seattle, very busy hospital in an ER. Yet he took the time to sit with me, explain my situation, but how I could overcome it. And once he gave me that hope, I was all in.
Do you want to give a shout out to him? Do you want to say his name? Give him a shout out.
That was
Dr. Gation.
Dr. Gation.
Yeah.
I don't know his first name.
And that was at
Swedish Medical Center.
Yeah. In Seattle.
And tried to look him up since. And he's an
internal medicine doctor.
Yeah, internal medicine doctor. But anyway, just absolutely changed my life. But as we took on this plant-based eating and my numbers started to drop. These numbers that couldn't go down with medication, they went down moderately. Yeah. They went down with a lot of work on my part, a lot of exercise, obviously, but a lot of medication. However, when I started taking on this new lifestyle, my numbers dropped. And they started pulling back some of those medications. And my numbers continued to hold steady, even improved. And my doctors were astounded. They were like, what is it that you're doing? And I explained what I was doing and how I was approaching it. And they would only wish that some of their patients would listen to them or listen to someone like me. And they're like, we need more of you, more people like you. And at that same time, God was also calling me to speak up and to ask questions from other professionals and reach out to other people that were suffering or were hopeless like me. And so that's what really drove us to it. And that's getting back to your question. That's my focus. Those are those people that feel like they're confused, they're searching out all that misinformation, and they're just so frustrated. I was so frustrated for so many years, and I just want to clear that up and help people find some answers that they can apply to their life. We talk about helping people to build a scaffolding with this, build a scaffolding in their life, giving them these tools and resources, and then applying their life over that scaffolding, and hopefully just building a solid foundation so they can move forward.
That's the thing, is that what's happened is we started out with this nutrition that really shifted our whole life all around and gave us all the solutions. But on top of that, what happened is it started this momentum of, oh, wait a minute, I'm a really good cook and I'm creative, and so I can do all these things. And we've been trained in, fitness training, and he's been working out his whole life. So we know a lot about that and anatomy. And wait a minute, we've overcome heart disease for 50 years. We've it all about what not to do, and all these kind of building blocks came together, and God was really clear and said, don't you see that I've given you everything that you need to know how to beat this, and that so many people like you are not going to have that doctor show up in an ER for 3 days and tell them those things. They're just not. And that's why you need to build this. You need to gather all these overcomers together, and so you can fight together. And and I'm going to create a healing here. I'm going to create an outreach, a mission. And so we really had to kind of come to terms with it, that we're going to show up for this. And it's just become our passion through that.
Absolutely.
Well, definitely the passion is there. But one thing that I didn't hear that I think you should, if you're not already doing it, maybe you're doing it, you just didn't say it, is the caregiver piece. Because I know from experience that the caregiver is going through their own hell, and the caregiver is often overlooked. They're tired. They're just as frustrated. They're just as worried. And I think if you also have a segment that speaks to the caregiver and how they can support that person, but how they themselves can stay supported. And, not everybody is ready to jump up and change your diet and cook and support. It's like sometimes the survivor is truly on their own. Like they need to change their diet, but they're not the shopper for the family. They're not the one who's preparing the meals. And so it really takes a team. And I think in addition to all that support, if you haven't already done so, consider adding that caregiver piece. I promise you there is a market for that as well.
Oh, no. Absolutely. You know what? God blessed me with a beautiful, strong wife. I could not do this without her. There's so many, there's so many ways that she helps me on a daily basis, and she encourages me. She motivates me. She plans out a lot of these things for me. And like I said, I couldn't do without her, but she really comes from that point of view. Yeah. She really knows how to navigate these waters as that caregiver. She knows
like you said in the beginning, your own family was like, and your family has a history of it, and they were still just as ignorant and dumbfounded and what do we do and helpless and it's just a continuing of that pattern, because family member after family member just sits in this state of hopelessness. Oh, it's just going to be my turn. It's just going to be my turn. Victim, survivor. So you're changing the paradigm. You're changing the conversation from a victim mentality to, hey, we can survive this. So there we go. Now, when someone interacts with the Underdog Ninja, you said you had courses, you had all this. What exactly are they going to find? I see you have a website, but what exactly is the experience of interacting with this organization?
Well, right now, we're still rolling out, of course. We're in our beginning stages, but as of right now, we do have, to start with, we have a free group on Facebook of people coming together, and we have free challenges in there, a ton of resources. We go live in there. We offer materials, learning materials where they can learn how to do this plant-based lifestyle. I've got, menus, and he got on there today and he was talking about fitness and just encouraging everyone. So that's a little community that we'd love to grow into however big it can get, and have people really supporting each other. And like I said, we do free challenges and we really interact in that group. It's our little family. We also currently are running, we're in the middle of our first round right now of our 6-week quick start program, which we go through that caregiver segment you were talking about. I go through a lot in there about interacting in relationships. A lot of our program is based on mindset and personal growth, which is probably, I would say 75% of actually navigating disease and heart disease in particular. So we really hit it hard on that. We obviously give fitness and nutrition, a ton of training on that, but a large a segment of our program, and any program from now on, are going to be based around how someone's mindset is. Because if you don't have the right mindset and you're not in the right place, you know, you're the one controlling your journey here. You'll fail. I mean, you have to have the right mindset. So we talk about relationships and where you're at and overcoming things, you know, in here first, and then navigating your relationships with those around you. So we really talk a lot about that as well.
Right. And you just said it a second ago that, you know, someone that come from maybe a family or they had their support system isn't that supportive. They have that history of, like my family, when I was diagnosed and fighting this, they basically did write me off, but they didn't know how. Basically, they were already planning my funeral, and I wasn't ready to go. I wanted to fight. And I wanted to overcome this. Mm-hmm. And so we want people to come into our community and let us help them and be their support system. If they don't have that support system, we can help them mm-hmm. and be their support system. If they do have a support system, like a team, yeah, we can
support that team.
Come up behind them and help support them and educate them.
Yeah, I think
that's where that community that mm-hmm. we talk about, what we want to do.
I think that people that really want to give this everything they've got and just need the direction and the support is our main focus. Obviously, it would benefit anybody, but what we're doing isn't going to fit everyone, because not everyone's ready for that. Like you said, we definitely support the caregiver and the person. You know, just recently I had a conversation with someone saying, look, if you're going to do our program, you both have to do it. I need both of you to understand that we want to support both of you. It's going to take both of you, not just the caregiver or not just the person. If there's two of you that are interested, then that would be the most powerful solution. You know, so yeah, we're really in there with everybody. That's another thing that makes us different, is we are not just out of a book. I mean, we've really gone through this. We know how you feel when you have questions about your good days and your bad days. I mean, we really have a empathetic answer, and because of that, we want to push you and lift you up and let you know that there's hope.
Okay, so let's say there is a potential sponsor that catches a hold of this segment, and they're thinking, how could they contribute to your future dream of where you hope to take this nonprofit organization? What would you say to them? This is your time to just give your, hey, this is why you should consider us type of thing.
Well, I think number one, we do have a donations page on our website at underdogninja.org. But I think what you're asking is, what would they be contributing to? Is it just more heart disease contributions? And for us specifically, it would be to serve that underserved segment of people who are getting like left off with all the resources that are out there. We are determined. Our mission is to pick up where everybody else is leaving off out there and all the other organizations and say, no, people that want to take this all the way. Heart disease is aggressive. It is not moderate. Yeah. Okay. And we want to aggressively attack this so that people look, there's some people that just want to, they're okay. This is going to sound weird. But our way of thinking is it's okay just to survive. That's okay. And you survived, and that's amazing. But for us, heart disease doesn't define us. We have mission and purpose in our life that is so much bigger from God and our kids and dreams that we have. And we know other people have that too. And we want them to be able to go much further than just surviving heart disease, but further and impact other people's lives and have an opportunity to serve God the way they want, because they've completely overcome this and can now move much further into their longevity and their life's dreams, instead of just having it be about, I survived heart disease. I know that it sounds strange to say just survived, but there's so much more than that. That's not the end. And I want that segment of people to feel empowered. And I think that because that is not being served by all of the other resources out there, that a sponsor would be doing good to begin that process of filling that gap of people that have come to us, and doctors have come to us saying those people are not getting served.
Right. And, yeah, exactly right. We've talked to these doctors, these cardiologists. I've talked to other type of cardiac therapists. different people in the healthcare industry, and they've all really said that there's a segment of people that they feel that aren't being served. Those, say you're going to cardiac therapy. I've gone to cardiac therapy several times, and they'll take you through their program, which is 2 to 3 months of their program, but there's no follow-up. There is no, and keep in mind that's basically teaching them a moderate approach in fighting this disease. And I just don't feel that's enough. I think there needs to be a better support system. There needs to be people, when you go to cardiac therapy, you do your thing and you're out, and that's it. There's really no follow-up after that. And I want to be able to stand in that gap and fill that gap and give people some answers, and to continue to create this family that will be with them throughout the rest of our life.
Mm-hmm.
So you've mentioned the website, but again, how can people follow up with you guys?
So we're on Facebook and Instagram at Underdog Ninja. UnderdogNinja.org is our website, and you find tons of information, free resources. We have meal plan download and like a quick start guide on there. Our program is also on there. You can reach me directly at Jessica at UnderdogNinja.org. Yeah, that's how you reach us. Anything
else you want to say before we wrap up?
I kind of touched on it just a second ago. I really want to, when I say stand in that gap, I want to bring together the people that are fighting this disease, the doctors and the practitioners, the cardiac therapists, and maybe massage therapists or chiropractors, everybody that are servicing those people that are fighting this disease. I want to have a place where that's my ultimate goal, my ultimate dream. What God is calling me to do is step in that gap and bridge those two together and build this community of not only the overcoming mindset, but with the nutrition plan, with the fitness, but like you said, most of that is that mindset, is to really dig down and figure out how you're going to progress and move forward. I think people really underestimate this when they're fighting this disease. If you're not, obviously you're not prepared for it, but it can really, it really shake you, and emotionally, it really can. If you don't have any direction, you feel lost, you feel isolated, and I want to bring, like I said, I want to bring those two, be that bridge, and bring those people together. Globally,
I think, just to kind of wrap that up, is we want to bring the healthcare providers that are on the same wavelength as us, because the reason we say that is they've told us this. We would love to have them be able to have the resources through us to offer to people, saying, if you don't want to listen to me, or maybe I don't know because I'm a cardiologist or a chiropractor, I don't have all that information, but these people do. They want the resources to be able to offer to people who are asking them, because they're their healthcare professional. We want to have these professional, programs and resources that we can offer to the healthcare community as well.
Whoa, all right. Well, that was totally awesome. You guys are awesome. And so thank you so much for being on the nonprofit TV segment of PSI TV. Guys, thank you so much for being my guest today. And hey, I really trust that you guys are going to serve the community in the passionate way that you guys already seem to be. So thank you so much. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.